Hello everyone and welcome to our Let's Play series of Torment, Tides of Numenera. This is Colonel RPG as usual, and I'm very happy that you chose to join me today here in the shrine to Sheila, or Chilla, or whatever. It's a lady that we're learning about, or we were learning about, from the Observant Spec, or as she calls herself, the Insignificant Spec, or at least she called herself that, or it might have been a spec before her. Anyway, she was telling us about Sheila, and Sheila was the one responsible for the foundation. No, not the foundation. I keep making that mistake. For the revolution in Saga's Cliffs, the one that overthrew the slave families. No, wait a minute. That put the slave families in charge and overthrew the lady that lived in a house, and that made it's kind of complicated. But if you don't remember it, you might want to check out the last episode. But for right now, let's continue. Tell me about Sheila again. Let's see what she has to say, because I think I had... yeah, there we go. So that's all the lines over there. I want to know more about you, Miss Observant Spec. Can I call you Observant? Is it fine? Can I? Her small hand enfolds the stump of her missing arm, a self-conscious gesture. I'm only a speck, she says, a mote of dust easily missed. Nothing important, save for the words I speak, the stories I tell to those who would hear them, but I observe much that passes in the bloom, and I hear still more in its whispers. Yeah, the whispers of the bloom she hears, and she actually speaks them, I think. I currently have the bloom juice thing, so I'm a little bit attuned, so it might change things, but these whispers you hear are the voices of the bloom? So they are, her eyes glitter. A lot of people hear them, but none as clearly as me. How'd you lose your arm? I didn't. She did. The first speck, the insignificant one. Oh, so I was right. Because she referred to the first speck as the insignificant speck. So they changed. They are all specks. They're not all observant specks. But they changed their things. But then how did she lose the arm? Eaten by the bloom, she says. It was taken in her sleep, cauterized at the elbow, just like... And she stops herself, appearing confused. You were sure she was about to say mine? Yeah, it's quite obvious. Just like the stories say. No, mine wasn't eaten, she says. It was... nothing. What was I thinking about? Yeah, I postulated last episode that she might have cut her own arm. Well, or had somebody do that for her. In a way to just kind of like a initiation rite to become the spec. I think I said that she might have fed it to a mob, but... cauterized at the... I think so. Actually, that kind of makes more sense than actually she cutting... No, mine wasn't eaten. No, okay, so yeah, she actually cut her arm. Can I ask a little bit more about that? I told you I didn't lose my arm. You're confusing me with the real spec, the one from the stories. Okay, fine by me. Is this place a place of worship? A worship? I said worship. Worship. Not really, she says. People come to be close to the bloom because its mind is strong here. They leave offerings, and she waves her stump at the nearby slab. Valuables they have stolen, trophies of their kills, proof that they are hunters, not prey. Oh, are you a leader or a priestess? Me? Making speeches punishing the sinful? No, I'm only a speck. They let me stay here, and I tell them stories, that's all. Perhaps they think of me that way. Part of their illusion, I suppose. Who is they? There's a couple of guys up there, but I don't know who they are. Or who these they are. What sort of people leave the offerings? Bloom cultists, most of all, but also guides, scavengers, merchants who fear to lose their precious cargo, travelers from other worlds, and the Memovita, before she lost the favor of the bloom, she'd heap the offering stone with the heads and hands of those she killed. So haughty she was back then, so sure the bloom loved her and things would never change. And the wool woman... Is that a verb? That's gotta have a name for it. That's gotta have a name. This is all weird sort of names for every single thing, every single noise that we make. Nothing is forever in the bloom, she says. What do the bloom cultists believe in? Oh, that the bloom is a god. Not a very kind or benevolent one, of course. Some people seek an illusion of safety by redefining the thing that they fear. That's less deep than it sounds. That's not actually very deep, but yeah. Who leaves the offerings here again? Oh, it's again. Okay. Does the bloom respond better to thieves and murderers? She shrugs. Well, sometimes it pays more attention to them, yes. Whether you want the attention of the bloom is another question. Predators, she thinks, is perhaps a better term for what it wants. Those who prey like it preys. Interesting. Huh. Okay. Now, now that I'm considering another thing, you know how I keep saying that I think the bloom likes me? I'm drawing a line to the fact that people who are about to get eaten, they're like, oh, this is awesome, this is amazing, it feels so nice. I think the bloom might kind of not hypnotize them, but convince them that it's their friend. But yeah, may I sleep here? If you don't mind the stink of moldering blankets, they won't mind you. And she holds out the tiny hand. But hospitality has a price. 55 shin for each guest. Okay, well, never mind. Let's talk about something else. Actually, nothing else, as it seems. Farewell. I'll see you again, Castoff, she says. Will you? Okay, so let's save the game before I interact with this thing. Let's see what happens. A slab of pitted stone sits in the center of the shrine, heaped with a motley display of offerings. The metallic gleam of a device catches your eye again, the mysterious offering left by the changing god. Let's look more closely at the device that the changing god left here. Only one end of the device protrudes from underneath some other offerings, its sharp edges glinting azure in the flickering light of the shrine. You're certain it belonged to the changing god, and you suspect that it's a Mir Caster. Oh, really? Okay, let's look at the offerings first. The objects on the slab are a bizarre mixture of trophies left by visitors to the shrine. Many of the offerings appears to be food of the most ghastly nature. Candied eyeballs, amputated fingers and claws in little cakes and pies, and puddings made from other unidentifiable organs, probably all harvested from vanquished foes. You also see broken weapons, severed limbs, and a scattering of silver items, little pots, cutlery, I should say, buttons, and other discarded scraps of metal. People have obviously been leaving their offerings here for some time, and everything is a jumbled mess. Your sharp eyes catch a sight of tiny bloom tendrils that snake along the surface of the slab, attaching themselves to the offerings. They writhe and undulate, as if feeding upon them, yet the offerings bear no physical signs that they have been touched. Okay, so this might go really badly because of what we just saw, but I'm gonna try and steal the Mir Caster. I think we should be okay. Tibir is pretty good at this. You actually can't get a better than 80% right there, and we got a 90% there on Eretis. And I have a 90% on me. Is that Eretis 95? Did it? No. Not Eretis. That's Aligern 95. Let's go with that. He doesn't need the speed anyway. So there we go. You wait until the spec's attention briefly shifts away and then seize the device from the slab. Careful not to knock any of the other offerings to the ground. The spec turns back to you, eyes glittering, and you think you hear a faint hissing, growling noise beneath the whispers of the bloom. Even though she says nothing, you suspect that she and the bloom know what you did. The device is cylindrical in shape, wrought from azure steel with curved, I don't think I know what that is, with curved, sharpened projections on all sides, making it difficult to hold. It feels familiar to you, like a family heirloom that you've only heard about in stories, but always pictured in your mind. Somehow you know that it's a Mir Caster. Well, we noticed that before. I'm gonna touch that in a little bit, and I mean that in the nicest of ways. Let's first see what if she says anything. No, she doesn't. Okay, so for all of your hissing, you can shut up. And we also have a Bloom cultist over there. Can I go up there? Yes, I can. And a Ragmin over there. Okay. And we have looked at this. A spec has always been here, even in my grandmother's day. They all look about the same, too. Okay, yeah, it's fine. So let's look at this Mir Caster. This device is cylindrical in shape, even though it doesn't look like it, wrought from azure steel. Its curved, sharpened projections make it difficult to hold. Oh, okay, so it's kind of, sure, okay, let's use it, see what happens. I also have a couple other items that I might want to try out or something. You withdraw the Mir Caster and hold it before you. A sour thirst immediately overtakes you, nameless and persistent. Your hands shake. Your throat is dry, drier than sun-bleached stones. The pull of the mirror within this device slices like a polished, shining knife through the wretched cravings clutching at the throat. Let's inspect the Mir Caster first. Whispers rise from beneath the thirst, thoughts trapped not by the device itself, but by the maze of addiction, faithfully carved within the hollows of the Mir Caster. One drink. I don't know who's saying that. One taste will help me think. Why suffer? Why shouldn't I have what I want? I want this. I deserve this. You lift one hand from the device, and the thoughts fade into irritable muttering. Okay, so... irritable or irritating? Because it's quite different. I think it's meant to be irritating. It's an easy... if you're not a native writer... I don't know if they have non-native speakers as writers for this game, but if you're not a native speaker, it's very easy. It may be very, very easy to confuse irritable with irritating, because some languages don't make the distinction. Mine included. Well, actually they do, but usually they don't. It's like, you know, informal talk. You won't be making that distinction. So let's read that again. One drink, one taste will help me think. These are the thoughts of an addict. It's what it is. Let's enter the Mir Caster. I think it's gonna be fine. Is that normal? That is normal. Oh my god, what is going on? Okay. The first thing you notice is the stifling heat. The dry air feels like it's sucking the life right out of you. You stand in the middle of a crowded street. An enormous blue dome towers in the distance over crowded clay and synth-steel buildings. The dome shimmers as the sunlight dances across its surface. Dark men and women jostle past you in brightly colored robes, kicking up dust clouds as they go. The dust glitters gold and silver, but it's just dust, and it's making you cough. A beggar sits at your feet, her robes far grungier than those of the crowd. The beggar is a thin, gaunt young woman, her skin reddish-brown from what looks like constant sunburn, her hair bleached almost white, and her eyes green with a bluish tint. The light reflects on a smooth, polished metal band around her throat. Coin for knowledge, she chants rhythmically in a pleasing voice, rocking gently. Coin for pity, coin for song. She sees you staring. I know you, she says, her normal voice almost as melodious as her chanting. She points at the side of your head. I've seen that tattoo and that uniform. You're one of the lords of the endless battle, aren't you? A cast-off. What business could you have with the oasis? Let's try to remember whose life you're in now. It's quite important. Your accoutrement, let's go with that. Jog your memories. Accoutrements. How do you pluralize that in English? Because accoutrement, that's a French word. Though actually, this is an English word that's read like a French word, but shouldn't be pluralized like a French word because the plural of this version of this word in French is read exactly the same as the singular form. So I think accoutrements. I don't know. But anyway, I don't actually know what that means. To be honest, I have heard this word, but I don't know what it means. I don't know. I have once knew, but I don't know now. Anyway, something jogs your memories. His name is Rhys Folk, an officer of the 1st Militia. A patch was torn from his uniform. Okay, so this Mir Caster was probably read by the Changing God. I think it might be very, very important, but it also might shed a light into what Changing God was trying to do and trying to find. And that's probably the first cast-off, because she might hold power over the rest of the cast-offs, maybe? I'm just conjecturing at this point. A patch was torn from his uniform, suggesting he is actually a former officer. He was exiled for refusing to murder innocent cast-offs at Padge's orders. Padge, who of course is the first cast-off. It was cruel and not the kind of thing he wanted to be remembered for. He was shocked that Padge would even suggest it. He never did get a satisfactory answer from her as to why. Several ornaments hang from your belt, a metal hand, an electronic eye, a dead power core. They're trophies. Reese's speciality is battling constructs and automatons. These ornaments are a source of pride for him. Let's say the truth here. I think this might be important and we might want to change this past, but I mean, just talking to a beggar here is probably not going to change much, so let's just be straightforward and see if this leads somewhere. I was exiled for refusing a direct order from my commanding officer. Her eyes widen. What a fascinating story. You know, you might be just the person I'm looking for. I desperately need help, she says, and your particular background is ideally suited. She beckons you closer and leans into your ear. I need your help to sneak into the oasis. I get the feeling that she would say that despite no matter what I would say, but yeah, like, so you're the perfect person. Just like, oh, what a coincidence. I am, I don't know, Cancer as well. You know, Cancer is in the sign, not Cancer is in Cancer. Like, when you ask somebody's sign, it's like, oh, what, do you like video games? No, I don't. Oh, what a coincidence, I don't either. Do you like movies? Yes. Okay, what a coincidence. You know what I mean? Anyway, why do you want to get into the oasis so badly? She sits back, folding her hands in her lap. You want a story? No, of course not. Of course you don't. Here's the short, bittersweet version then. You see this? And she touches the metal band around her throat. I acquired it some time ago, when I used to live in Saga's Cliffs. I can't say what compelled me to wear it, but... And she laughs at her own foolishness. I did. And it gave me the most beautiful singing voice and, as an odd bonus, the ability to breathe water. I began to go by the name Tide Singer. That's kind of a beautiful story. What's wrong with that? But what blessing is without its curse? She looks wistfully in the direction of the blue dome. Mine is an overwhelming urge to immerse myself in water. I need it. I ache for it. And she squeezes her fists until her knuckles become white. She lets go and sighs. I came here hoping to move into the oasis, but their immigration laws are quite strict. I sing for money here in Jerboa, spending a day in Mirgasser whenever I have enough scraped together, but it's not enough. I need more. Wait a minute, but don't you want me to go into the oasis? Do you have a plan then? And she pats the ground next to her and waits until you're sitting down. The tour groups are our way in. The Gibber or Gibber? I don't know. Gibber guards? I don't know what that is. Okay, it's either Gibber or Gibber guards. We'll let anyone pass with a guide. Of course, the problem is that the guides stick to you like... And she searches for the right metaphor, then lets a handful of sand sift through her fingers. Well, like dust. And she raises a finger. Except at the menagerie. It's like an underwater museum, but it's so crowded that the guides simply hang out at the entrance. So we enter Mirgasser with a group, then slip away and hide ourselves in the menagerie until nightfall. A shadow crosses her face. This is a tricky part. The menagerie is guarded by a demon, an automaton from a prior world, and she playfully flicks a construct's eye hanging from your jacket. But I suspect... Please don't do that. It might hurt me or something. I don't know. But I suspect you don't... Like flicking your eye? Ugh. But I suspect you know a thing or two about dealing with those, don't you? She thinks. She says, yeah, that's a good point. Why, with your skills, we should be able to sneak past it, no problem. Sneak past it. Okay, I'm gonna try and change things. I'm gonna make a purposeful decision to go with something that I know this guy wouldn't say. So yeah, this sounds dangerous. What's in it for me? I thought you'd never ask. She's Sidles before, closer to you. You were kicked out of the endless battle, yes? On the first side, if I'm not mistaken, and she smiles at your surprise. You'd be amazed what you hear even on the streets of Jerboa. I know a thing or two, including something very interesting about your militia that's worth the risk. And she sits back and gestures at the tattered uniform. Besides, what have you got to lose? Why do you need to sneak into the oasis? I mean, the sneak part. First time to Mirgasser, I see. Yes, I have to sneak in. Oh, for a handful of shins, I can play tourist for a day. And believe me, I do, whenever I can, but I need to leave there to be part of their waters. And her shoulders droop. But the Gibbers make it difficult. They fear what blending the cultures might do, so they place heavy restrictions on who can immigrate. They patrol the borders and monitor the air skin bracelets sold in Jerboa. They must have connections or money for them to let you in. Oh, you must have connections. I have neither. Connections or money, yeah. However, and she leans eagerly, if you can avoid their patrols and breathe without a bracelet, as I can, then it is possible. Oh, air bracelets, so that explains what it means. It's like a rebreather or something. I have a Gibber friend who says it's more trouble than it's worth for them to seek out every illegal air breather who sleeps through their net. It's only the net that is the problem. Okay. I will, yeah, I'm not gonna say that. I want to help her, but I'm gonna say forget it. I offer shins as well. No, not now, obviously, but once I'm inside, please, I'll do anything. But I can't do this without you. No, it's too risky. I'm just trying to get by. Farewell. You continue down the road, her pleas bouncing off your back. Time speeds forward in the way dreams sometimes do. Jerboa town is the same the next day in all but shades and shadows. Rumors circulates of a thwarted theft in the menagerie, of 2 prisoners, 1 dead, 1 imprisoned, but they are only rumors. Your path takes you past Neme's street once more. She's gone. Nobody knows where she went. Hardly anyone ever even knows her name. No rumors circulate when a beggar disappears after all. She may as well have never existed. Okay. So I screwed up her life, or maybe not. She actually tried to get in there. She failed. She probably would have gotten better help, but I think my reasoning was sound. It's kind of a meta reasoning because it's like, well, it's not really meta, but the thing is, this was a Mir Caster that was left here by the Changing God. The Changing God might have known, might have predicted something, so I want to do something unpredictable there. I don't know if that's gonna have any consequence. I hope it doesn't. I mean, it'd be dead, maybe, a consequence for her, but, well. She's dead. She would be dead anyway, so, well, we got nothing to talk about, says that guy. Ragmin? Sure. Okay, well, see you later. I'll talk to you later. Well, not, never, actually. Bloom Cult is over here. Should I talk to you, sir? Nope. What are you? Friend or foe to our god? The whispers aren't clear. Yeah, that's a good point, actually. Anyway, I think we're left with the main quest. Let's go over here. Get on with our lives. Let's also look at our journal. And that's Broken Hearts right there. That's for Oving. Never found this guy. I have no idea where he might be. Covetous Hearts. Return to Dracogen with a magnetic amulet. And then, ooh, look at that. And then, yeah, it's still the same quest. So it's the last, ooh. It's the last quest, guys. I mean, the last quest that we have. I don't know if we need to go back to Sagas Cliffs. I hope we do, because I want to keep playing the game. And I mean, the ending, I think I mentioned this before. Oh, I mentioned it on stream, so not actually on this game. But the thing is, I don't really know how the game is going to end. I'll say it right now, as I said on stream, for other games, not for the, I haven't been streaming this one. The thing is, this game hasn't been keeping the main quest all that,
breathe again.
You know, involved with everything else.
Feels like everything's going to be all right.
Yep. It basically doesn't keep the main quest as involved with this looks like a huge maw. You see that? Not that I'm noticing. Like a, it's a spine. It's a spine. It's a spine. It's fine. It's fine. It's not a thing that's gonna open. It's fine. Oh, well, it might, but anyway. Especially with me around. But the thing is that the game hasn't been really setting up the ending for like, you know, it hasn't been involved in every single side quest. The game kind of loses its track, I feel, in the main quest. And that's okay. It's a simple quest that, I mean, it's a simple quest that, for the better and for worse. So the good thing about it being simple is that you don't actually forget what you're trying to do, and when you do get involved, you know a little bit about the world, and that's good, because, you know, just like, I mean, Changing God says stuff about tides and stuff about this or that, and you know you get a grasp all through your journey. The problem with that, though, the problem with it being simple, is that the ending needs to be brilliant. It needs to have a lot of meaning, and I am very, very curious to see if the ending is good, because they cannot just end with a wimpy thing. Otherwise, it's just unsatisfying. I mean, the journey to the end is fantastic. It has been amazing. I love it to bits, because just of everybody that we meet and all the places that we visit and all the things, and it's awesome. And it's awesome. It's brilliant. I love it. The problem is the ending. So let's see what happens. And I'm gonna try and keep the amulet over here, because I don't trust him. By the way, I think I mentioned this before. Well, Castoff, what news have you? Have you managed to obtain the cortex, or are you ready to surrender the amulet? Well, I got both, actually. But I don't think you should have any. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, that's a good answer. That's the best answer I have over here. Would you accept the cortex that we discussed earlier in place of the amulet? You don't even know how to say amulet. You're just an idiot. Ah, yes, he says, that would indeed be sufficient. Should you manage to obtain it, it would certainly be a fine substitution for the amulet, but I have doubts. I have tried and failed to acquire it before.
I'll remember that.
The agents I employed previously were not up to the task. This was an occasion of great surprise to me. They were tough, capable explorers, and I thought them more than sufficient to the job. If you gain access to the anchorage and the cortex, I suggest that you employ guile before violence. I would hate to see you fail, as they did. But did they employ violence? I think they might have. Yeah, let's talk about returning the amulet. Are you prepared to fulfill your end of the bargain? Yes, I brought the cortex and wish to trade it in place of the amulet.
I'll remember that.
So I suppose that line would probably be there if we returned the amulet, went and get the cortex, and then came back and he would change it back. Because we don't need the cortex. But the amulet we might need, because it might have something to do with the wall situation. His smile disappears as he considers your words. He licks his lip nervously and places his hand to his forehead, as if he were suddenly stricken with a headache, or if he were communicating. He looks, or if you were communicating. Oh, you know, like telepathically? He looks up after a brief moment, his smile returning, though not nearly as wide. Your words are wise. I will accept, he says. He places it into a flat pouch at his hip. An O-shape distorts the pouch as if it were merely a gateway to some larger place. Yep, it's a bag of holding. Acceptable, his thoughts say, but not ideal. Take it. There will be other opportunities. Who's... We didn't... Did we read... I'm not sure I like that. This concludes your part of the transaction, he says. Let me honor mine. Come with me. Oh, we're gonna open the gates of the Memo Vita. We're going in, guys. We're going in. Oh, wait a minute. We're actually already there. This looks strikingly similar to Sagas Cliffs. This way. Draw any weapons and you'll die in short order. Well, thank you very much for the instructions. Because it's basically what he gave us. Instructions to die in short order. The Memo Vita. Well, I'm about out of time for right now, so let's see what happens on the next episode. For now, I'm Colonel RPG, and this has been Torment, Tides of Numenera. I really hope you've enjoyed it, and if you did, go ahead and leave a comment, like the video, but above all, thank you so much for watching, and I hope I'll see you next episode. Bye-bye.